Good morning, y'all. So y'all have been kind of on me about how fast or how quickly I'm putting out videos, because I know when I first started I was like hit the ground running, but y'all know this is not my project and nothing is done on my time, so just keep that in mind. And quality over quantity, okay? Y'all just don't want me putting out videos just to put them out. So I did want to speak on this morning. Last night, so just to give you a little bit of background, I started maybe like 2 or 3 days ago. I started rereading the Bible from the beginning, and I'm reading it this time in the traditional order. And so I'm in Genesis, and when I was reading it, it basically talks about, like, when it first brings up the serpent or the enemy or the devil or Satan or whatever, when it first brings him up, it says that he asks Eve, did God really say you can't eat from this tree? Like, and I felt like maybe I had never noticed it before, or maybe I never paid attention to the way that it was actually written, or the way that he asked the question, because the way he asked the question is the exact same way I be asking questions to myself. Like, it's the same kind of conversation in my head about things that I'm going through in my own life. So I put a note on there, and I was just like, this is why it's important to remember that God is not a God of confusion. So the questioning that happens whenever you're wondering something or you're confused about something, the questioning stems from questions from the enemy. Did God really say? Yes, God really said. Did God really tell me to take that job? Like, you trying to figure out, like, was that really God for real? Or was that me? Or was that the devil and he just made it look real good? Like, the most important thing to remember is that God is not a confusing God. He's not gonna confuse you. It's not gonna come with question marks. And to help you in situations that you're in currently, when you're wondering, like, how do I know if God told me this? How do I know if this is God speaking? Or how do I know if this is God telling me to make this move? Or, you know, whatever the case may be, when you're wondering this and you're having this conversation and you're so confused and you're asking yourself questions, please go back to a moment that you know for sure was God. Go back to a time where you know you heard God clearly, and you have to literally remember, was you confused? Was this conversation even, like, was this same conversation a thing back when you knew it was something God told you to do? So personally, for myself, something that I knew that God told me specifically is, you know, I'll be talking about this, but when he told me to, like, get out the Air Force and move back home. And I was like, I had questions, but I didn't question what God had told me. I knew for sure, like, oh, that was God. Like, without a shadow of a doubt, like, that was him. It came with peace. It came with a lot of things, but it did not come with fear. And I had questions about the path that it was going to take to get there. I had questions about, you know, like, the process, and okay, well, what does that look like now that you're telling me to do that? But as far as the answer, I knew the answer. I already knew what he said to do. So just remember that when you're confused and God has already told you to do something, that God is not a confusing God, okay? The enemy will confuse you. He wants you to be confused. He wants you to feel like you didn't hear the right thing. You don't know what you're talking about. You're crazy. He wants you to feel like that, so that you don't follow what God says, so that you don't go into the pathway, or that you don't go the way that God is telling you to go. God is so merciful and graceful, though, that let me tell y'all, even if you feel like you went away that God didn't tell you to go, he still, like, his word still has to come to pass. It cannot come back to him void. What he said still stands. He's not a liar. He's nothing but the truth. He, like, even if you do it wrong, he's going to continue to guide you. He's going to continue to save you. He's going to continue to make sure that whatever it was that he spoke over your life, whatever you was meant to do or become or be or have, it's still going to happen. Okay? You don't really control as much as you think you control. But anyway, that's my spiel for today. I love y'all. Have a great day.